Hey everybody, Rocktimus Prime here, back with another Transformers video review. Now today we're going to be taking a look at this guy. This is the Transform Element Up Leader E, basically the Shattered Glass Optimus. I will review Mastermind Creations Warper. Yes, Master. I'm going to get out. Hey everybody, Rocktimus Prime here, back with another Transformers video review, and I felt oddly compelled to take a look at this figure today. Mastermind Creations Warper. Also, it's like 90 degrees, so I've had to stick on a little fan down here. Hopefully you can't hear it. Come on. But anyway, this is a figure designed after the Hearts of Steel comic series, where it was kind of a what-if scenario where the Transformers woke up in, like, Mark Twain. I remember him being there, like the Steam Age. And I gotta say, I love it. With the wingspan so impressive, I have to kind of be off to the side while I'm showing them off here. But in terms of Mastermind Creations figures, this guy, I would have to say, this guy is probably my favorite in terms of quality. I have him and I have Annihilator. And he is such a step up from Annihilator. It is insane, the quality in this guy. It's not official quality, but it's pretty close. And it's probably a good thing it's a little creakier, because this sharp plastic pointy bits could poke your eye out. Just, woo! Now everybody knows that the Seekers are amazing, and everybody knows that my favorite is Skywarp, based on the color scheme. I just love the way the black and the purple look. This guy brings off the Skywarp vibe in spades. This guy is fantastic. His name is actually Warper. He is... Ow, he's actually really sharp. Now what I think gives him the overall aesthetic look of this kind of steampunk vampire is definitely these bat wings, and then these sort of kibble chunks that kind of come down in the back, or can come down in the back, because they're on little ratchet joints. You can dissuade them however you will. And I kind of like them on the back here as like a tailcoat for this guy, and he's just so much more intricate than I thought he was. I've actually had this figure for quite a while, and I've wanted to review him. I was never really that blown away with him. He was like, oh, he's cool, I guess I'll put him on the shelf. But coming back to him all these years later and sort of taking a look at this sort of toy engineering, it's not perfect, but it's right up my alley. I love this toy. It kind of helps that he's not really Generation 1 Skywarp, but he totally is Generation 1 Skywarp. This is the kind of thing that I think third-party figures can do, and do amazingly. Nobody was using this design when it came out. Nobody was using the Hearts of Steel molds. And this is a fantastic representation of a figure that never showed up. And it was only in the concept design as far as I'm aware. The detail and sculpting on this head alone is amazing. I like the bat ears that kind of come up there. And you can actually fold the bat ears in to give him a more G1 Seeker look, but I prefer the way they look out, to be honest. The leg detailing here is fantastic. You see he has these nice long bat wings on his toes, but he also has all of this internal mech detailing on his legs. It's a bit tricky to do without covering everything up, but this whole kibble stuff in his leg actually rotates when you rotate the leg joint. You can kind of see it there. I'm not doing the greatest job, but the gimmick isn't activated when you move the knee joint, it's when you move the secondary joint in his leg, and I can kind of do it. Another feature I really like on this guy is the wings. Now, I don't actually have him at full spread right now, but you totally can flip these out and give him an entire just, whoa. I don't actually know how to describe it. It's just a giant bat backpack with all blades on it. And you can do a nice flying, gliding, jumping kick thing. It's your toy, you can do what you want. Now before we get to the articulation, let's go over some accessories, shall we? These little things here on his hips can detach. They are just on a sliding peg joint. Then you just take them and plug them together. Just plug them together like this, and you have a double-bladed batleth, but like made out of actual bats. A batleth. And you can totally dual wield them or single hand wield them and take on all kinds of chumps with this blade. And this is probably the biggest double-bladed axe I have seen in a while. Now, in kind of a spirited throwback to Armada Starscream, you can totally rip off his wings and use that as a giant club sword scythe thing. He also comes with his null rays, which are, they're not null rays, but they're just two cannons. I don't know, steam-powered cannons, steam-powered weaponry. You get two of them, so you can have one on each arm, or you can mount them on top of each other. The guns themselves do rotate, so you can have them mounted on his arm and like pointed thusly, if you want, or you can have them just flat. It's really up to you. Now, I want to point out the excellent detailing on his robo-crotch. It's got this nice metallic paint that I absolutely love, and it also, in keeping with the Nightmare for Hearts of Steel aesthetic, it also has a cow catcher plow thing on his robo-crotch, which I actually really like, but on the engines it makes sense, because that's part of their design. The engines have a cow catcher in front to push cows and things off the rails. Planes wouldn't really have that, but I think they had it in the prototype art. So now the articulation on this guy is absolutely fantastic and well above what I would expect for what I paid for this toy, and well above what I would expect for a deluxe scale third-party figure. His head is on a ball joint. He got side to side, way far up, like he can suck his head back into his neck. Ugh. These are on a ratchet joint, and they go up and down on a hinge joint. There is a bicep swivel, a double elbow, which is nice. It's mainly for transformation, but it is nice to have. And there is a wrist swivel as well. The waist does clickety-clackety spin. Such a nice sound, I love that. His legs will go out that far, which is really nice. They're not ratcheted or anything that way. They do kind of look like they would be ratcheted, but they're totally not. Forward and backward are ratcheted. You have a thigh swivel. The knee bend, it's a really nice knee bend. You can totally suck his whole leg up and do like a flying knee kick that the Seekers are known for at this point. You have a ball jointed toe, which is nice. The only problem is this little bat wing thing here kind of gets in the way of some poses because it hits against the leg, so we got to watch out for that. Also, this back piece is on a swivel, and I'm hitting the shelf as I'm wiggling him. So this guy can get pretty expressive when you want him to. And that's really why I like him. He can do pretty much any pose you want to, though I always kind of find that he's coldly staring and sort of being a cold vampire about things, which, to be honest, there's mileage in that, so. And by the way, this guy has light piping! If I stare at it too long, kind of get drawn into a daze. So, let's move on to some size comparisons before anything else weird happens. Here is Warper with Mastermind Creations Annihilator, their black Optimus Prime from this line. Here he is with Siege Redwing, and here he is with Siege Earthrise Grapple. Transformation time! So here he is in his plane mode. Now part of me goes, this is very clearly a robot doing some kind of weird Tai Chi lotus form thing. But the other part of me goes, shut up and just enjoy this plane train thing. I love the cockpit all the way up at the top, like above the giant main engine. Like, you can't hear anything in there. You're just, Especially with like these two other engines, you're not gonna hear crap. Especially if you don't have like a radio, like an earpiece or something. You're just gonna be like, what? And you're gonna have a little problem with landing if you can't see where your wheels are. Which this guy does have little rolling wheels, which you can't see, but they're tiny. They're right there, these little gray bits. The only other issue I have is I can't get these to quite tab into the hands completely. They're supposed to, but I just can't figure it out. So they're always kind of sloping downwards. The one good thing is it clears up all of his detail back here that was kind of hidden with robot junk. You see some nice thrusters and some gears and that plow thing that I was talking about. Why is it there? And you can pop the weapons on the sides here. This is probably where you would want them rotated so they would shoot horizontally instead of vertically. And that looks okay, but still it's almost too chunky to actually look like it would have the ability of flight. I mean, you can tow it behind Night Morpher Annihilator, but again, why? The wingspan is huge in this because it's completely unfurled and it is just incredible. Now, time for some size comparisons. Here we have Night Morpher Warper, and here is Night Morpher Annihilator underneath because they wouldn't fit on my movies. Here he is with Siege Redwing. Here he is with Earthrise Grapple and Earthrise Prime just because I had him laying around. Aside from the issues that I have with this thing, I absolutely adore it. The transformation isn't as complicated as I remembered it was, so that was a plus. Also, I'm doing this for a friend, so she requested to do this. Hi Krista, this is for you. Happy birthday. And yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. If you can find him, I would say definitely buy Night Morpher Warper. He is the best Skywarp toy since the G1 Skywarp. And we all know that we love Generation 1 as the pinnacle of Transformers that it is. I keep getting distracted. So I do recommend them if you can find them. I don't know if they're on Big Bad anymore, but that's where I got mine on quite a discount actually. So I might see if I can find some more in the future. But anyway guys, this has been Rocktimus Prime with Night Morpher Warper saying hope you guys have a good day, good night, whenever you're watching this. Take care everybody.